Hey Veronique, how are you doing? Welcome to the Crossroads Cafe podcast.
Hello, Emma. Thank you for having me this morning.
Oh, it's lovely to have you here, my dear, and thank you so much for saying that you'll join us. So just a little background on the Crossroads Cafe podcast. We created this out of a passion to really inspire and encourage other women who have got this idea of a business, of something they want to create and they want to start, but they don't know where to start. So my mission is to reach out to all those entrepreneurial women who have already done that. They've sort of taken that leap of faith, and learn from them, learn about the highs, the lows, how you got started and all that kind of thing. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm all about belief. Are you about belief, Veronique?
I'm about belief, yeah, definitely. I work in mindset, yeah, that's a big one. And I'm about passion. I think passion is our biggest drive. That's what brings the fire and makes us do things.
Definitely. And I feel exactly the same way as you. I'm all about we become what we believe we can become, and confidence is a big thing for me. That's why I do my yellow brick roads. But it's all about having that belief. But we do struggle, and I think especially at a time like now, people are struggling with their belief and their self-confidence. There's a lot of doubt, isn't there? A lot of uncertainty. So it'd be great to try and inspire women to overcome that. So can you just tell us a bit about you and about your hypnotherapy business, and what it is you actually do?
Okay, so I'm a solution-focused hypnotherapist. I trained 2 years ago and then set up my business. I was a bit in a place where I didn't know what to do, and I was really hoping for something to come along to give me some passion so I could go for it. And I trained in solution-focused about 20 years ago. And what I loved about it was that at the time I had quite a negative mindset. I grew up with a mum who was depressed, so my life was always about the negative and what might go wrong. And I loved how it changed my life. To train as a solution-focused family therapist. And then when I moved to the UK, I was always intrigued by hypnotherapy. And when I found both together, solution-focused hypnotherapist, I knew I'd found heaven. I found what I wanted, and it was the perfect combination for me just to go for it. So I work with mainly people with anxiety. Most of our clients come for anxiety, but smoking cessation, any phobias, OCD, negative beliefs, no confidence, lots of things. So they all have, it's based on neuroscience, so they all have kind of the same origin, the reason why we all have these things going on. And what we do is we teach our client how the brain works. And once we understand that, is completely life-changing, because once we understand why it's doing what it's doing, why it's causing us to be anxious, we can actually counteract it and take control and teach our brain to be different. And that's really, I love it.
Brilliant. Do something about it. And I think that's the key. You hit the nail on the head. When you're doing something that you're passionate about, and obviously you're passionate about it because of your experiences throughout your life. So you become you're so passionate about it that it doesn't even feel like it's work. If you've got an idea or something you want to explore, and it's aligned to what you need help with, or the person that you believe you are, or maybe the person that you believe you want to be, to then pursue that lights us up, doesn't it?
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
amazing. That's
what,
we've got a bit of a delay.
That was for me what I needed. I've always wondered, there must surely be something more positive. Life must be easier than this. That's what I thought. And it's when I found this, I realized there is, and that I can control it. Yeah, that's a really important part.
Brilliant. I love it. So where you've sort of said where it started for you and the reasons for it, what were some of the challenges maybe that you faced at the beginning in getting started? Because that's what I hear a lot. I hear a lot of women say that they've got an idea of something that they're passionate about, something they want to explore, but they feel really overwhelmed. They don't know where to start. They literally don't know what that first step is that they need to take. So what was the catalyst that got things moving for you to start the business and build the business?
Yeah, I'd done it before. I was in a phase before when I wasn't in a great place after my children were born. I had a bit of post-traumatic or postnatal depression, and I started a pottery business. So I'd gone through the process of starting something, which had really helped me. It wasn't very successful. I didn't do it very long, but it got me out of the place where I was in. So it was, in that sense, really useful. So I kind of had an idea, but I think I kept on playing with the idea of doing this training, but it's quite expensive training. So that's the first hurdle to go, oh my God, am I really going to invest all this money? And then might not even like it. So I went to the school and checked with them, can I start? And if I don't like it, can I stop? Just little things like that took all the pressure off for me to paying thousands of pounds and maybe not enjoying it. Needless to say, I loved the course and that wasn't a problem. Then I started off working with social media, the advertising, finding a place where I could work. That's not necessarily always easy, but it's just a question of asking around, looking what other people are doing, chatting with other people. And probably the best thing I ever did was to join a co-working space, which is a local co-working space, but also during COVID it went online. It's a tribe.net, and Stacey who runs it. It's really empowering group of people that meet every week, but also whenever we have questions, we can put it into the group, and we get lots of people's feedbacks. We can share our wins. We can, so because often the problem is, I think, when you start your own business, that you are very lonely, and everyone says that you're sitting at home, you don't know what to do with yourself, don't know where to start. Yeah, you have a good moment, but you get over that, and then the stress starts again. And if you have anyone, it doesn't matter who it is, you can share that with, that makes you feel like you have a colleague that really talks to you about. I can't talk about my clients, but I can talk about a good feeling, or I can talk about my advertising not going well, or what should I do? And that's really helpful. So I think the one advice I would say, find someone that you connect with and you can support each other.
Because I love that.
Need that.
Yeah, I love that. And that is so true. And actually going back to what we spoke about with regards to belief, I remember when I first started out and someone said to me, because I didn't believe in myself. When I first started my business, I didn't believe that I could achieve the things that I wanted to achieve. And I kept coming up against these hurdles. Things kept going wrong time after time after time. And I got in contact with someone that believed in me. They believed in me. So it was like, they believed in me. And over time, through me being around them, because we become, they say, don't they, one of the 5 people we hang around with most. So if you want to be successful and there's something that you want to achieve, you want to start your own business, hang around with people that have started their own business, and hang around with people that are achieving in their own businesses, because then you're going to achieve as well. And let someone else believe in you. If you've not got that belief in yourself at the start, adopt it from someone else until you do believe in yourself, and then you can take that back. So I love that. Totally agree on that one. And then what are some of the highs? What were some of the highs in starting out and actually doing what I suppose you really wanted to do?
I was so euphoric when I did this training. I loved it so much. I mean, I was so excited every time I went to Plymouth and had my training weekends, and I loved it. So that in itself gives you so much energy. So it just shows you on the right path, and you suddenly want to do all these things. Interestingly enough, I used to drink quite a bit of alcohol before. My husband sells wine, so we have a drink here and there. And I totally stopped drinking alcohol because I wanted to be fit the next day. I would never have a glass if I had a client the next day. And that in itself changed my life. Really for better. I really don't want much of it anymore now because I feel so much better. And I realized it gave me anxiety. So when I did this course, I realized, these things I need to change. So that's a high. Finding a space was really quite a process for me. And when I finally found a beautiful space in a hen house in Kingsbridge, that was a great moment. And of course, when you suddenly see all these clients come along, you get great reviews. That's always a moment of, oh my God, I'm doing what I want to do, and apparently I'm doing it well.
Amazing. I love it. I love it. So my next question to you: how do you overcome the challenges? So when the challenges come up, how do you overcome them? So maybe do you have some daily habits, like you've just said? You may not be. You'd be thinking about an evening routine maybe before the next day if you've got a busy next day. Is there any habits or daily practices that you do every day that help you move forwards in the business and in life?
I'm not that kind of person necessarily, but I'm learning that is quite important. I'm learning also that I have good days and bad days. There can be a day, and I remember at the weekend I had a day I didn't feel great, and the next day I felt super and cleaned the whole house. So sometimes, we have to go a little bit, and maybe if you have the chance as well, maybe to go a little bit with where energy lies. But I try to start my morning not going straight on social media. That's the one thing I've learned. I well, I work in mindset, and I know how important it is what we think. So I try to start my morning in between, you know, school runs and all that stuff. I'm really realistic. That's not always easy, especially when the kids are small.
Yes.
But have something positive on the way in my car or something like this that keeps my mind focused and well where I want to be, reminding myself of what I want to do. I want to attract certain things in my life. Yes. I know that positive thinking helps my brain focus on the positive. Yes. So these are the little routines that are the most important to me. And then I do my often, hopefully daily, little dog walk, little breaks in the day, because I know for the brain that's important. When it fills up with too much stuff, we get overwhelmed. So just sometimes take a little breaks. Little things like that make such a difference.
Definitely.
And like I say, go to people who believe in you. If you suddenly don't believe in yourself, call that friend who believes in you and just let them remind you. And someone said, make a folder of all your successes. When someone writes you a review or sends you a nice email, put it in a folder. You can go back and look into it.
Yeah, definitely. I think we give ourselves such a hard time, don't we? We're always on to the next thing. When we're learning, and you touched on learning, when we're learning and we're growing and we move from A to B, when we get to B, we then want to get to C. We don't always appreciate and recognize how far we've actually come and you know, the challenges that we've overcome. We're just on to the next thing. I love that idea, making a note of that. I don't do that, so that's something I will certainly be doing, making a note of all the nice reviews. Okay, and something else, when you touched on the learning, Oprah Winfrey, she has this quote, and I do like to sometimes bring it up in these podcasts because it's one quote that I love. I know starting out, there's lots of failures, isn't there? When we're first starting out, there's lots of things that we try that don't work. And it's very easy to give up at the start. You can have all this passion and all this energy and love what you do. But running a business has so many different parts, doesn't it? It's not just the bit that you're passionate about, but you've got things like your admin or your finances, you know, the accounts and invoicing and all these other, you know, technology, which for me was such a headache at the start. And it's knowing how to do all of these different bits. So there's lots of failure at the beginning. But Oprah Winfrey says, failure is the universe's way of pointing you in a different direction. And I love that because that's amazing, isn't it? And that just sums up the learning process, which you touched on, having to continuously learn, continuously educate yourself. If you don't know something, question it, you know, and again, something else you touched on, question it and understand it and learn from it. So yeah, that's great. So you spoke about how do you celebrate your successes? Actually, we haven't mentioned that. But when something does go right, or you know, like you say, you've got these amazing reviews coming through, how do you celebrate those successes?
I just feel really great. I think that's the main thing. My body goes into a state of euphoria. I celebrated myself. I'm just really happy, and then I just bathe in that. I don't know, that moment of really enjoying and sharing that in my thoughts with my clients, you know, that we have, you know, I've allowed this person to move forward in their life. I will put it on a post maybe somewhere on my social media, and often I would put it in the co-working space. I would tell someone about it. So yeah, I do milk it a bit, but I think we need that because, as you know, with the mums, we never have a boss that says, oh, well done. You know, no one ever going to say, well done for cleaning the house or cooking for me. So we really need to find these little moments, and that's, I think, why we love the work so much once we find a passion, because we finally get something back that we haven't had for years, something where we are good at something and actually we're feeling it. Because you can be great at cleaning your house, but no one actually tell you.
That's
or you
it.
can
I hear you.
Be great at cooking every night. No one will tell you that you're good. That moment we really need to cherish. So I just love them. I just enjoy them, even silently, you know.
Yeah. And it's and what you're saying to me in a roundabout way is there's something that you found in yourself that maybe you've overcome, or that you have overcome, that you're now sharing with other people, right? You're now helping other people overcome their doubts and their negative thoughts and their fears, which I think when we're able to do that, when we take what we're passionate about and then we can help other people with what we feel and we believe we're good at, that's the biggest reward, isn't it?
It's totally, yeah. That's, but all comes together, isn't it? Because
Definitely.
I don't want to take away from the client, because they are the one who have done the work. I just have helped them find the path. But remembering for myself what it feels like to discover something that feels better, you know, that's the enjoyment out of it. And, you know, that being my work is even better. And it's just, yeah, that's for the moment when it comes together, and we need that as well to move forward. If we don't get that for a longer period of time, it gets really difficult, because then the self-doubt kicks in, then it gets thoughts, and then, you know, then it gets difficult, and we have to pull ourselves together. I'm really lucky I work in mindset. So when I have these moments, like everyone has, no one has ever high confidence, you know, even the most successful people. So I can just remind myself. In COVID, I mean, I had 3 weeks where I was freaked out, and then I was like, listen, you know about mindset. And then I remembered everything I'd learned and went, okay, that's what's happening. And then I could pull myself out of it. So that's my advantage in my job.
Definitely. Definitely. I love that. We all have our weaknesses. We all have our strengths. We all have our weaknesses. And like you say, there are times when we're on it and we've got it, and we're doing what we're doing. And there are other times when we haven't. I call it my backpack. So I imagine I've got a backpack, and all the bits in that backpack, whether that's, you know, going, like you say, I love dog walks, going to the gym, you know, doing something myself, sitting down, maybe listening to some motivational videos, doing my affirmations. When I'm feeling that fear, and when I'm doubting, and when I haven't got the confidence, and I don't think I'm going to get to where it is I want to go, or, you know, something comes and presents itself and it's not the result I wanted, I think about going into that backpack and picking something out that's going to make me feel better. You know, put my coat on and going to the beach for a walk, or just doing something to get me out of that state of mind, which isn't easy. It's not easy, but I don't think it's easy for anyone, is it?
You're picking up exactly that. When we go down the spiral, we forget all the things we've achieved before. We forget that we got through a difficult time and we can't remember how you did it. All this, what you're saying about these resources and skills and capacities we have, we forget about all this. So you're digging back into that. It's brilliant, because that's all we need, really. We have it all. We just need to remember. We've been through, you know, everyone could tell us stories about things they've been through. They were hard and they're managed, and we forget. We're really good, you know, we're quite resilient, and we just have to believe in ourselves.
Yeah, love that. Love that. So what's next for you? What are the plans for the business? What have you got coming up?
I've got a course coming up starting next Monday. I'm so excited. It's a course called Becoming a Positive Thinker. So it's all about the
wow. Just what we need at this moment in time.
Yeah, it's good timing, isn't it? Yeah, I've been asked many times to run a course, and I never had anything that resonated with me until I found this, because I wondered what was it that changed my life the most when I did this training, and it was that, being able to become a more positive thinker. So the course is really that. It starts off with the theory, understanding the brain, why the brain makes us feel so negative, and why we can't come out of it sometimes, and then using that knowledge and changing the pathway. So it's a bit like going to the gym, the process of becoming a positive thinker. We need to train, and when you've got the right tools and you do it regularly, and